Well, it's that time of year again. It's the NHL playoffs, arguably the best playoffs in sports, I would say. As you can tell today, Jade's not with us. We have a special guest to talk the NHL playoff bracket with us. Will you
Let's
go ahead
do
and
it.
introduce yourself for us?
JB, been loving NHL playoffs for a while. Excited to be here. Let's get it.
Let's get it. I like it. And JB's here with us today to talk about the NHL playoffs. Obviously, two guys who probably watch the most hockey do love to talk about it, and we are pumped for this year's playoffs. And I
I
think
am. Yeah.
I think it could be very interesting and how it can go. I think it was tough picking a bracket, I'll say that. But we both did get a bracket. We both made our selections. We will post those on Instagram at the conclusion of this video. So those will be out. But I'm ready to go ahead and get talking about it. So I said we go and hop right into it.
Let's do it.
So we'll start in each conference. So your matchups. You have Buffalo and Boston, Tampa, Montreal, Carolina, Ottawa, and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia in the East. In the West, you have LA, Colorado, Dallas and Minnesota, Vegas and Utah, Edmonton and Anaheim. So those are your matchups for each conference. To you, which matchup kind of stands out to you? We'll start in the East. Which one there kind of jumps out at you of
I
those
really
four?
like the Buffalo and Boston. That one. I think that'll be a good one. I think Boston will really make some noise. I don't know if they'll be good enough to beat Buffalo, but I really they've got a good squad, and they've won some tough games. I'm most excited to watch that one, at least in the East. I would say.
Yeah, I mean that one. Boston's a top 10 on the power play. They've had their moments this season, but I think that could be one of those series that could very well go 7 games.
I agree. I could not agree more.
That's one of those division winners and wild card games that one definitely stands out just from the perspective of Boston being what they have experience play as a playoff team. I think that one could very well be intriguing for sure, and that could definitely make some noise there in the East.
Yeah, I really like it. It's two very very physical teams. I think it'll get pretty chippy as well.
I think that, and obviously the great news being, they're them being back in the playoffs.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, and I like them. Boston being above average in the league in save percentage or above the top 16. I like seeing that just in goals allowed per game, and that's just and being able to score the 10th in the league in goals for per game.
hmm
But you look at Buffalo. I mean, they're fifth in the league in goals per game, and you look. I mean, then they got the goaltending coming down the stretch. They're 10th also in goals allowed. So they're getting the saves, they're scoring goals. I mean, they're playing elite hockey, and they've just been hot coming down the stretch. So
they really have.
I
Yeah,
think my biggest question. I'm interested to see how Buffalo does in their first appearance since. Let me get this right. It was a 16-year drought.
yeah. I have no idea. It was a long time.
Yeah, very long time with a drought. I will stay in the East. I think Montreal and Tampa Bay. I'm also very interested to see.
I am too.
I think like I look at Tampa, a very experienced veteran group.
Right.
I mean, John Cooper leading that with Vasilevsky and that, Braden Point, Darren Radish, and that whole
Yeah, they
squad.
got playmakers for sure. Yeah.
And very veteran and very, I mean, I think they're a very old team
hmm
with the group they have there. And then you have Montreal, who is probably the exact opposite with a very much younger group, but still elite.
Very.
Go,
Yeah.
they can score. They've got young playmakers. Obviously, Cole Caulfield, Demidov, and that list can even go further than that. But you know, I'm interested to see kind of how do you have a very elite veteran group. And I want to see how Montreal performs in this kind of, in this series and kind of how they perform. Obviously, with them being so young, you got Dobish and Net running for them, who's gotten a lot of high praise. And so I think that series could also really be firing. I think there could also get a little chippy, but I do like that series. And then of course I think you do have to highlight the Pittsburgh Philadelphia Battle Pennsylvania. You got a Pittsburgh team who I kind of earlier this year gave them some praise. I think more of just how sneaky they can be. I think in the playoffs, I know I've talked to you about it many times. I do love their offense and their elite scoring. I think and then they're on the special teams. They're top 10 in both.
Yeah, I
Um,
know a lot of people are picking them to go all the way. A lot more
I
than I had thought.
you know, but I told you like I wouldn't be surprised. They're seventh on the power play, sixth on the penalty kill, but I have talked like that's one of those teams that I would not be surprised. I will say I think where the concern kind of gets is they are bottom 10 in goals allowed per game.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going to struggle.
That is kind of the highlight, but they're third in scoring. So it's one of those things, and you're kind of balancing it out. And realistically, you're going to kind of see the same number when we go to the West when we get there, and with another matchup. But that's kind of the only downside is can they get elite Stuart Skinner or
Right.
or how they go with the goalie situation. But that kind of what makes that interesting. I would honestly compare them to kind of Edmonton in that sense.
I
With
would say, yeah, they're kind of like that. They got some good pieces, but they're still a little
I
bit
think
away
I think the
defense side.
struggle. I kind of talked about it. Like I think when I had first talked about it earlier in the year, the struggle really was more of a defensive than it was
Mhm.
goaltending. I thought obviously the goals allowed number is going to go to the goalie.
Right.
Just that's just how it is. But I also thought they had a lot of bad chances. They gave up elite chances and leaving their goalie out to dry. So that can also be rough at times, but I do think that'll be a fun one to watch as well.
For sure.
We'll go to the West now. I think we both are going to agree on which matchup's the most interesting here, but
Yep.
you take us away with which one you think, or
Well, I
I
think
know we.
I mean, obviously, I'm excited to watch all of them, but Dallas, Minnesota, I like that one. But one, I'm really excited to watch Vegas and Utah, two teams that may not have had the regular season they wanted, but they were both able to find a way to get in. And Vegas, their new coach, they've been rolling, and I know Utah's been kind of streaky. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I know Vegas, they've got some players like Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, obviously Mark Stone. Um, same with Utah. So, yeah, like,
Yeah, that one before we do go to Minnesota, like Vegas. You look at it's kind of confusing what to think about them because if you look at the overall regular season, realistically, I don't think you really have them going past the second round.
right.
But under John Tortorella, you're 7-0-1. The big thing for me is how good the goaltending's been. I love Aiden Hill, but I think he's not your elite starter. I think he's a good two. Carter Hart has proven to be the better goaltender. He is the one. He's going to leave Vegas in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I think it's just a reality. It's not that Aiden Hill's a terrible player. He's just not the elite. The elites in the league. Andre Vasilevsky, Connor Hellebuck, like those guys. I mean, those are your elites. They're your ones, you know. And so I kind of Aiden Hill got a lot of hate.
He did.
He really did, but you have to look at. I look at it like this. I'm like, I mean, you can hate Aiden Hill, but oddly enough, Vegas led the league. I think they did drop down to second league though, and shots allowed per game, which is kind of funny to think about. But if you look at it's not the fact that they didn't allow that many shots; it's the chances they gave up. I mean, they were. If you look at the chances they were giving up to Aiden Hill, I mean, Aiden Hill was just out to dry. So
Right.
it's hard to blame a goalie, but I think this team has played better under Tortorella, and I just there was a jump, and obviously top 10 in both special teams. But you look at Utah of goaltending, Vamelka, he's played most of the year.
He's played well. He really has. He's stepped up for him.
Yeah, he's been huge, and they've got talented. This Utah team could be really interesting. You got Dylan Gunther, which right now he could be out game one. We're not 100% sure there. And then, but you got Clayton Keller and a bunch of guys there that you got some some guys that can play at Utah,
They're
and
very
I
top
think
heavy.
yeah, and I think they could be very interesting to see kind of how that all pans out there.
Yeah, it'll be. I think if the Vegas, the blue line can really shut down that like first, maybe second line or so. I feel like Vegas will be all right.
Yeah, I think it should be interesting to watch. Just I mean, again, I think the goaltending in this, I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of a low scoring series.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like I said, Vamelka's been a very big part in their success this year, and that dude's been absolutely elite. But I do want to go to Dallas and Minnesota because
I agree.
this is one of those series where, I mean, you can't say guarantee, but you got to feel confident you would put your money on a game seven being there. I mean, you've got two elites.
Like it's
Of,
just top to bottom. Looking at their roster, it's just they're just stacked, both of them.
yeah, I mean, this is funny on the power play. They're 2-3. Dallas is two. Minnesota sits at three.
Yeah,
I mean, these teams, and I mean, in the penalty kill, Dallas at 13, Minnesota's at 16. I mean, they're practically sitting almost in the same region in a lot of stats. Like in goals for per game, Dallas is 9, Minnesota's 11. And then you go to the goals allowed part of this, they're both towards the bottom. Minnesota's fourth in the league, and Dallas is second. I mean, you could not ask for an absolutely more tight series than what you're gonna see now. I mean, again, we're talking two elite teams. I
very.
think.
I think these are two teams that could go all the way.
Well, you would love to think that you would love for both of them to go there, but
Sucks they have to go against each other in round one.
yeah,
But
there's
that'll
been.
be a good round.
I think it was funny because like once this happened, everyone was like, "We need the old playoff system back. We need the old."
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
which I do think is a fair argument because that would realistically Dallas and Minnesota could go all the way.
Mhm.
Which I feel like they would face each other at some point, but I think the argument is, you don't want one of them out in round one.
Right.
But, you know, I am excited to see this. This can be an interesting series. Dallas with the group they have and really just what they've been able to do this year. Again, a lot of great things. And I mean, that whole Central Division has really been something to look at. But, you're going to have a very nitty gritty. I mean, it's going to, I would put money there will be a game seven.
I would as well.
I mean,
Two great goaltenders as well.
yeah, I mean you got Jake Ottinger, who just he's an elite player,
Stays consistent every year. Yeah.
and even the Smith behind him,
Hmm.
that guy, he played well, I would say this year. And you go to Minnesota, you've got Wolfstead,
Uh-huh.
who at the beginning of the year was a talk of of the league, and then behind him you have Gustafson, who played last year. I mean, he's a solid guy as well. I mean, and then you got Vladimir Tarasenko at Minnesota. I mean, he's a weapon that they have. I mean, that whole group. I mean, you could just what they have
Right. They
with.
got a lot of
I mean,
guys
you got
on
Matt
both
Boldy
sides.
that can. You got Matt Boldy, Tarasenko, Kapril
Pretty
Kaprizov.
fun. Yeah.
I mean,
Even
dude,
Quinn Hughes, I think.
Quinn Hughes. I mean, you've got so much talent, and even on Dallas side, I mean, the talent that these two teams have on both ends is top notch. It's elite, and I really love. I just love the groups, and I just love how tight. And it's great when you even look at the numbers, and they're in every category that, like, so we talked about the goals for, against, power play, penalty kill, just where they match. I mean, it's gonna be such a tight series. So I'm
I'd
excited.
see some long games going to like OT, and it just being a long series.
I would love that. I think overtime playoff hockey is absolutely elite.
It's pretty fun to
Um,
watch.
I won't mention those last series because this one, because they're so, it's gonna be, it's really similar to Dallas, Minnesota, and just the fact of it's gonna be an absolute slugfest. Edmonton and Anaheim. This series could very well go 7 games, and we're
I
just
get
gonna
it too.
and the final score being like 6-5. Like I mean, the goal scoring in this series is going to be absolutely out the roof.
I think these two teams are very similar.
I would, you're looking at net for Edmonton.
Hmm.
It looks like Ingram's going to take the reins for Edmonton, and then you got Dostal for Anaheim, and that's just kind of been. I mean, both those guys have nothing impressive at all, but they can both score. These groups, these two teams can absolutely score. Offensively, it's going to be a very explosive series. So I think this could very well be,
It's gonna be fun to watch. You know,
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that all pans out there. But with that being said, we're gonna go and make our picks and predictions for these playoffs. We're only doing round one, and our brackets. Like, I'll post our brackets, but we'll have round one, and then we'll kind of talk about all these matchups going forward. But actually, we'll go ahead and release our full bracket. We'll go ahead and talk about our full bracket, and then post them out there, and everyone will be able to see them. So we'll start in the West. I'll let you take it away. We'll go round one, Colorado and LA. Who you got there?
well, I feel like that one's a shoe in. I got Colorado, very stacked team. They have been all year, and I know I was telling you earlier, but LA not the best playoff team that we've seen. And I think they you know, good for them. They were good enough to get in, but I don't see it. I could see Colorado winning in four, even maybe five.
I I'm on the same boat. I got them in five just because I think LA sneaks in a win somewhere.
I think they'll get one. Yeah.
Usually how it goes. I feel like, but I we'll get to Colorado next round. But I'm kind of I'm on the fence about Colorado. But next series, Dallas and Minnesota. Who you got?
I think I picked Dallas. I feel like they're more. I don't know what a word for it is. I feel like they've got some guys with some experience, some veterans. I feel like it would match up better.
See, I've got Minnesota in 7. I do. I love Dallas in that group they have. I mean, they've gone far. I mean, they've got a history doing with Pete DeVore. Obviously, a new coach,
Hmm.
but Minnesota. I look at what they have. I think it, the numbers don't differentiate much, but I do. I just think in net's going to be huge for them. I mean, they're going to need. I think Dallas has a little bit of upper hand when it comes to goaltending.
I agree.
They do have kind of that upper hand, but
I think
Minnesota.
Minnesota's got
I think with
better
the
guys
Quinn
up
Hughes
front.
trade, that even with the Quinn Hughes trade, that added a bigger jump to their step.
Hmm.
But I do love again they just got that group, and so does Dallas too. I mean, it's just such a tough series to really pick, but because I mean they're
Seven
both
games for
similar.
sure.
I mean the numbers are there; they're just similar. Just the best goalie's going to win this series.
Hmm.
Who can come out on top? But I just like Minnesota. I think Minnesota comes out in round 1 and advances. I like their group too much, man. But we'll go to Vegas and Utah now. Who do you got there?
I think I'm gonna take Vegas. I think it'll be a very close series, but I think if I was kind of saying it earlier, if Vegas can slow down Utah, because Utah they're a good team, but I think they rely on a lot of guys, and I think if Vegas can do a good job shutting that crap down, then they'll be all right. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
take Vegas about maybe I could see it going to 7, but I think Vegas in 6.
I've also got Vegas at 6. Like it's really tough to not pick them with how hot they are going into the playoffs,
Right.
and
I
just
was
how
thinking that too.
the torch effect. I mean, it's been big, and the big thing that's given me so much hope is the goaltending. Like that's just been huge. Like not only is it better, you got Carter Hart back
Hmm.
from injury, and that it's been we have not turned back. And it's funny to think your one loss you were up 2 going to the third period. Like you kind of just a brain fart, and you end up losing that game. But you know, I think Carter Hart's been a huge step up for Vegas. I think one thing Vegas has got to do. I'm looking more defensively. You can't give up high scoring chance. Keep everything outside. Don't turn the puck over. Like fundamental things. Being smart. I mean, because if you turn it over, Utah's got playmakers,
Hmm.
and they're gonna
They'll make you pay.
they'll make you pay. I mean, that's just simple as it is. But I do have Vegas in 6. I'm too confident in the goaltending right now and just how the group's been playing. But we'll go to Edmonton, Anaheim. What do you got here?
Phew. I'm gonna take Edmonton. I really think it's gonna be the battle of which goalie will step up and be better. Both teams got some elite players on offense, obviously, and it's really. I think that's really what it's gonna come down to. Which team's gonna be able to score more? Which team will have the goalie that steps up better? A lot to play for Edmonton here. They've came close 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder. They're gonna want it. So I'm
I've
gonna take
got Edmonton.
Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Edmonton at 6 as well. Like the big thing for me is just experience, and that's honestly the reason I'm taking them. They're just too experienced, man. Like, not that Anaheim's a bad team, but they're
Yeah,
not as experienced.
they don't have a lot of guys that have been there.
I mean, they've got a young core,
Right.
but I do look at Edmonton. I think like this experience, and like you said, they're trying to go back. I mean, they've came close and they've been shut down. So I mean, they've got to find a way to come back and get back into it. And so I think they're going to have a little bit of a jump. But we'll go ahead and head to the East now. This was tough to pick, but we'll go to Buffalo and Boston to start. What you got there?
Yeah, I think um I think this round, I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people are expecting it to be. I think I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think it will go to 7 games. It's gonna be it's gonna be lights out, especially in Buffalo. You know, it's been a while for those guys. And Boston, you know, they've got some absolute players. You know, Pasta still sick, Morgan Geeky sick. However you want to look at it, Swayman when he's on, sure,
When
whatever.
Swayman's on, man, like that's been my whole point for Boston though, is like, I feel like I've kind of harped on the goaltending. Like
Hmm.
I thought their group was just kind of goaltending group was just garbage. I mean, I was earlier in the season, I was adamant about that, but I think it's gotten better, and it has to be better if you want to be a playoff team.
And yeah, I mean he stepped up. Swayman, I mean he's had some rough games, but overall, I feel like he's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Buffalo in six. They just been so hot, but they've been consistent. Like,
They've really turned it on here this last month or so.
yeah, I mean, obviously, well, you look at when they went on the 10 game win streak. Like, it's like, okay, like something's going here. You lose a game, and it's like, all right, is this when we lose now 5 in a row?
Hmm.
No, like they don't roll over. Like they lose one or two, and then they just flip it right back around and just keep winning. Like, to me, that is a characteristic of a playoff team. Like, I just love defensively. Like, again, this is another young group.
Hmm.
That's kind of the one thing I think that really kind of holds them back a little bit, is just how young they are. But I love the group they kind of defensively. I love what they can do scoring. You know, Uga Lukanen, he's been good. Alex Lyon, like they've had guys step up and goalie because you've had injuries there, but you've had a multitude of guys step up for that team. But I do love that group.
I
And
feel
I
like
think,
yeah, I feel like their want and their skill. I feel like that'll overcome how little experience they have, obviously.
yeah, like that's one of the things too I do look at. It's like, experience is a big thing for me, but it's also just kind of like, man, like they have been like just playing so well, even with being the experience they are. So like that's one of those tough things you do have to look at. But we'll go to Montreal and Tampa now. What you got there?
I really think this one could go either way. I would not be shocked at all. I think it'll be 7 games either way. I ended up picking Tampa just because I'm a Bolts fan, but I really think it could go either way. Montreal, they've got some guys like Suzuki, even Slavkovsky, Caulfield's nasty. I think
I'm Demi Doll.
right, and I think Tampa they're gonna have to shut it down if they want a chance. And same going the other way. Tampa's got some ballers too. You got, I mean, obviously Kucherov, Gensel, Hagel, I guess, Darren Radish. So it's two very very stacked teams. Tampa kind of got in a slump towards the end of the year. Montreal really really turned it on. So I'm excited. I'm gonna go Tampa in 7.
I've got Tampa in six. Again, I love Tampa's. I love both groups. Like, I think both of them have just got very elite, talented players. Um, I will say, goaltending wise, I think Tampa's got a little bit of an upper hand. However,
Hmm.
Dobish has been a very big part
He
to Montreal's
has.
success. But I harp on this a lot, and I feel like it's not good to always rely on this, but I think experience is a big thing. Like I sit on experience. You know,
I think Tampa's got probably some of the best experience out of anybody.
they do. They're an older team, and your
Mhm.
coach is even. You got John Cooper behind your bench. Like, it's kind of hard to not be very confident in that group. But like you said, dude, Montreal's been a good group.
They have.
They've got playmakers that can score. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way as well, like you said. So I think that series should be quite interesting
It will be.
for sure. We'll go to Carolina, Ottawa now. What you got here?
I Carolina obviously is the better team here. I don't think anybody could really argue that. Um, they got they got guys like Aho. He's still good. Svechnikov, he's good. Seth Jarvis. I mean, list goes on. And then for Ottawa, they've got Olmark. Honestly, sorry, excuse me, but yeah, they've got some guys too. But I think Carolina. I think Carolina's just better. Uh, I mean, Tim Stützle, he's good. Obviously they got Kachuk. He's gonna be ready to go. Jake
Sanderson,
Sanderson, Cousins. So
the whole 9 yards. I mean, they've got something there.
they do, and I'm gonna take Carolina. I just think they just have a little bit of an edge. I'd take Carolina in 6.
So I've got Carolina in 7. And it's nothing that I don't think, I think Carolina is an elite team. I really do. Brandon Bussey, dude, what a story that is. Just go look that up. That's
Mhm.
amazing for him. I'll be completely honest. I love Carolina's group. I think Carolina's the better team as well by a pretty good margin. But something about Ottawa, man, Linus Olmark, he's just a difference maker. Like
Just yeah, found a way.
I've been such a big I when we did earlier videos on the play when I was doing playoff pictures, dude, I absolutely dogged on Ottawa's goaltending.
Hmm.
Like it was just garbage.
It
It
was.
felt like wasted talent you had scoring, and your goaltending was terrible. There was no Allmark, and you weren't you get no saves. I remember it was Sanderson that made those comments about the goaltending. I mean, that sparked a lot, online. But with Linus Olmark and Met, man, Ottawa could very well, I think, sneak in, 3 wins and make this a very tight series. But Carolina is just they're better, man. I
I
think
agree.
Carolina is just a better group.
Yeah, I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. I think, but
Yeah, I mean, Sveshnikov, Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis. I mean, the elite group that they have there. I mean, they're just a good team, man. And Brandon Busty, I love. He stepped up in net.
he did.
I mean, he's been again. If you haven't looked at that story, go look at it because it's awesome. But huge, huge for this Carolina team, and they're gonna be really good. So I do have Carolina in 7. Last series for round one, we have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. What you got here?
Um, I would say I like Pittsburgh better out the gates, but I think Philly they're still a good team. They didn't start off the year great. They really picked it up. I'm gonna take. I think I'm gonna say Pittsburgh in 6. I think they've got some guys up front that are physical. You got Crosby, obviously. He wants to win. I mean, everybody does, but Crosby wants it, and you got Malkin as well. Same story for him. I think Pittsburgh will be. I think they'll be ready to go. Pittsburgh in 6.
Yeah, so I'm also on the same boat. I do have Pittsburgh in 6, and I'll be the big difference maker for me. I will say is I do look at the special teams numbers.
Hmm.
Philadelphia's bottom 10, Pittsburgh's top 10 in both. That's big. I really have harped on Pittsburgh because I just love the group. They're they got an old team. I mean,
They do.
that is the truth.
They do.
I'll say one of the big additions they had this season. They traded with Columbus for Chinikov. That dude has been on another level. He's been a huge part for them. But I do love the veteran group that Pittsburgh has. I just love the scoring. Like,
Hmm.
just they've got a lot to be positive about. The goaltending again, that is something that is definitely like you have to keep in the back of your mind. But
I
no
think same
question.
with Philly too. Yeah, I mean, same story. Their goaltending's not the best, and yeah, I really think it's going to be who can take over the game, who
Yeah, I
be
mean
the
that.
playmakers.
Yeah, I mean that'll definitely be one of the more interesting things there. So we'll see how this all pans out. Now we'll go to round two. We will go with getting jump to the round two matchups, but uh, uh, we'll save the round two matchups for next week so we can get into that, and we'll go running through and talk about it all along. But our brackets will be out, so go check those out. JB, man, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, no
Appreciate
problem.
you being on the show.
Yeah,
I
thanks
will
for having me.
I will get our brackets posted out there, but we'll talk about round two next week. We'll run through everything. Thank you guys
Sure.
for watching. If you haven't already, go follow us on across the board. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those amazing things on all our accounts: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. Thank y'all for watching, and we hope to see you guys on the next episode.